3.
Hello, hola, bienvenidos, and welcome to Oye Cinema Club. Boom, 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 boom. My name is Don Dino, and I'll be running this show. But with me, I have some friends. We have Steve, Ades, Ativi, Amarina, a Jason Echoes, and we watched Swiss Army Man. That is a 2016 movie starring Paul Dano, Daniel Radcliffe, and it's written and directed by the Daniels, who are the guys who also recently did Everything Everywhere All at Once. So if you like that movie, you might like this movie. Anyway, so yeah, so it's a movie that it's been on my radar this whole freaking time since it came out. I was always interested in watching it. I always felt like, oh, I need to be in the right headspace because it just seemed really weird. And so I always had it in the rear burner as one of my picks for Oye Cinema Club. I said rear burner. Anyway, so it's a fart. And so let's just go ahead and get started. And let's do first impressions. And you know who I'm going to first because I feel like this is what we're going to be sharing for the rest of eternity in our friendship. Marina, what did you think?
I was like, please don't pick me. Please don't. I want to hear what everybody else has to say first. um, yeah, you know the vibes. Like, what the fudge, do you know? I don't know what else you thought I was about to say, but weird. I it's like one of those things where it's weird. Like I was just like, like what is happening? But like you also can't stop watching it. Like, it was just like I feel like I was just like waiting for clarity. And did I get it? We'll discuss that. But very strange, very unique. Very interesting that Daniel Radcliffe he took a role like this. I never think I would have imagined him doing something like this, but very like this is very unique concept of a bromance for sure. I don't even know how to quantify it outside of like what the fudge. I can't tell you if my first impressions are good or bad or not. I just don't have a word. I need to like make a new word and submit it to Webster's dictionary because like I really don't know how I feel. Like, so after we discuss, I will have more to say about that. But yeah, just overall car crash, 100%. Can't stop looking at what the heck.
Nice. All right. How about Steve? What were your first impressions?
First impression. So let me just start by saying that the movie accomplished what it wanted to do, meaning he wanted to pull you and grab you to a wild ride where you're questioning society's rules in the beginning and you're disoriented and lost in the forest. But then when you get to the city, and you are under society's rules, things get really weird. Anyway, I'm just trying to say all that to try to make sense of what I saw. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, it's another thing. I'm like, wow, Dino is on a hot streak. You know what I'm saying? Like, poor things, this, okay. So he just really challenging the weird now. He's just like, okay, what is the next weird movie he's gonna pick? Um, but yeah, but again, like Daniel Radcliffe at this point, he's just like, yo, I'm gonna do everything that I can, so people just forget about me as Harry Potter. Like I'm tired that people just think I'm Harry Potter. I can be Weird Al. I can be a zombie that's just farting and becoming a jet ski temporarily. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Like this movie's not gonna win Oscars, obviously, but wait, I gotta get Marina right there. Hold up, hold up. Oh, I'm killing. I'm killing.
Oh man.
Uh, Yeah, but yeah, it is just like Marina. I don't even know what to say about my first impressions. I cannot even articulate it properly because I don't know where to take it. But it for sure was an interesting movie.
Okay, nice. Jason, try and take us there. Can you come up with a first impression?
If anyone can take us there, Jason can.
Jason can.
Well, this is my first time seeing this thing. I had heard of it, and I guess like maybe halfway through it, I started to remember like maybe I seen a trailer of it, but I didn't really remember anything. And my first impression was, "What the f?" That was
What?
it.
What the
No,
fuck?
they really that was so. I didn't know exactly what I was getting myself into, but the minute he started riding him in the water in the opening scene, I was like, "Oh, okay, I think I know what this is." And then it hit me. I was like, "Is he gonna be dead this whole movie? Because if so, this is very brave of Daniel Radcliffe to just play a dead body." And I was like, "But you know what? There's probably something. There's probably something kind of fun about that in a way." Um, and I mean, listen, I'm not exactly sure what this movie's trying to say. I know what it's trying to say in bits. I think my one of my favorite scenes of the movie is very early on when they're just sort of talking and he's explaining life to him. Because all of that stuff was pretty funny. And I was like, oh, okay. He's like explaining life through his perspective to this like baby essentially, who doesn't know anything. And there was something to be said about that that almost felt philosophical in a way. But then the movie's just it's strange, it's weird comedy, it's dark comedy, it's goofball stuff, it's what do you call it? It's very physical comedy. It's loaded, and the movie's directed very well too.
Yeah.
This movie, like you would have to like really understand what you're doing to make a movie like this, like what you're trying to say and how to like execute that thought, because there's a lot. But I think the movie's executed well in what it is trying to say, and I'm not always sure what it's trying to say from both sides. And I don't know. It's like anyone who's seen this movie kind of knows like the flusterness that I have because it's different. It's very bizarre, and it leaves a lot to discuss, I believe. But those were my first impressions.
Nice.
Chef's kiss on saying exactly what we said, but in Jason mode.
Mhm.
Very
All right. So, also first time for me watching it. So I guess I was the only one that remembered that this movie even came out from our group, or kind of what it was about. I was, I mean, even though I kind of knew the premise of the movie, I basically uh, crackhead Castaway is the best way I can describe this film. I had no idea how far it was going to take the premise, or if they were going to make it back to the real world or anything like that. But yeah, whew, it took so many turns, and for a second there, also I was like, maybe Daniel Radcliffe isn't going to talk in this film at all. But yeah, no, they got him talking. Um, it's a trip. I mean, they kept it short also, right? Under 2 hours, maybe an hour 40, but whew, 90 minutes maybe. I don't know, but it it was interesting. I enjoyed a whole lot of it. It was some of it was, I mean, so it was childish humor, but then it also reminded me as a little kid of like playing around. You know what I mean? I don't know, like in the backyard or whatever. Other, do because they were doing so many like movie references and Jurassic Park and all that, that it definitely hit a lot of the nostalgia points for sure. But anyway, so I think, yeah, glad all of our first reaction is kind of similar. Like it's a thinker in a sense, as like there's not a whole lot to think about it, but that's kind of the beauty of it, that And the only reason why I'm thinking so much about it now is because I've seen everything everywhere all at once. And like the message about family and everything and decisions and one decision makes you go down one path of your life and the other one would take you somewhere else. And I feel like this is in there. I'm surprised that this wasn't like somehow thrown into everything all everywhere all at once, like some sort of like Easter egg. I mean, maybe it was, right, of having like Daniel Radcliffe corpse or something just like in the background. um so yeah, this clearly, if that was about family and understanding and like love, this is about like self help almost, like the person that feels like they don't belong and how do they come up to terms to try to fit in with society. Like there's so much there that, yeah, it was. I'm still trying to figure out what my first impression also is, so let's move on. I think this was nominated, at least for special effects. Don't throw shade on winning any awards. Whoever was the one that's saying could ever win Oscars. Ha, 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 ha."
It won an Oscar.
No, I'm saying I think it was nominated for, special effects at the very least.
The shock in
You
your voice. It won an Oscar.
I mean, I just feel like if this type of movie was nominated for an Oscar, like I would have definitely heard about this. They would have made like a fuss about this at the Oscars. This is
Yeah.
a weird movie. There's nothing else like this. I mean, maybe Weekend at Barney's.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a combination. I felt like yeah, Castaway was the first thing I thought about, like if Wilson was a dead body instead
Mhm.
of a volleyball kind of thing. And then a little bit of like the eeriness of it's a really dark show. I forget what it's Yellow Jackets. Have you guys heard of that show?
Yeah,
Um
I've heard of it.
haven't seen it.
it gives me a kind of the when they do like the visuals and the dressing up and like the weird stuff where they're like connecting spiritually. It reminds me a little bit of like the Yellow Jacket concept. Yeah, it was very. I would be very interested. I didn't have time to look it up to like see like what the writer's vision was, like why. Because it's crazy. Like they pitched this and someone gave them a budget, and they got
A24.
yeah, they got like decent actors. Like we just watched Paul and Dumb Money and
Yeah.
like, you know,
Let me say something to that point about Daniel Radcliffe doing a weird movie. Since Harry Potter, I feel like almost everything Daniel Radcliffe has done has been weird. He's in a very like, peculiar space where he was already rich before he became an adult actor, and he basically can pick and choose anything he wants to do with no fear of it failing or succeeding because he's good. Like his like he's imprinted forever, and he has like more money than you can think of. So like, remember he also did a movie where his hands were guns. Like he had gun like Edward Scissorhands. He had like Edward Gun hands in a movie. And I remember he did a movie where he's like the devil or something. He had these big horns, or I guess he wasn't the devil, but he's born with like devil's horns or something. I didn't see either one of these movies, but I know all his movies are kind of weird, and he's done like some weird theater after he did Harry Potter. So he's kind of like that guy. I think he's kind of like that weird sort of kind of edgy, bizarre sense of everything as an actor.
all I've ever seen him in after that, like I know he has like a plethora of other credits, but are like guest super super like small roles. Like he had that small role in I love what's that magic movie? They have a second one. Now You See Me. He was like the villain in Now You See Me too. And
That's
then
awesome.
he was like the villain in that Lost City movie with Sandra Bullock. Like it's just so what a change. Yeah, it is very true. Like it's crazy. Like what would you work on if you didn't need the money kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just very interesting choices. But yeah. Mm.
I was actually thinking also about how, of like kid actors per se, it seems like the peeps from Harry Potter all seem to have come out pretty unscathed. Like the majority of those, those actors have made smart choices throughout their careers, whether they've continued in acting or not. You don't hear about any of them going just like crazy, especially of the like the top three or top five of the different characters.
That's because they
So
were living in England.
Those British moms don't play.
oh, okay.
You don't have the allure of like Hollywood or New York or to open up a big city like that in America with like prestige and power and fame and money, you get into a lot of trouble.
Oh, and going back to the guy that Paul Dano's character is Hank Thompson. It's Tom Hanks right there. If you think about it.
Oh, I
Oh,
think they
That's
did
why.
that on purpose.
Yeah.
Mm.
And apparently Paul Dano basically wanted to do the movie from a one sentence pitch, I guess, or one of the sentences that the directors gave him, that was just like they want to do a movie where it starts with a fart that makes you laugh and it ends with a fart that makes you cry. And that's
that's funny.
and he was like, I want to be part of that movie. Of what freaking movie is gonna start with a fart that can make you laugh and end with a fart that can make you cry? So it's super bizarre. I guess it won 8 awards in different festivals and all that, nominated for like 22.
So you
Uh,
looked this up because they directed the other movie, Everything at Once.
for this movie, no, like later when Everything Everywhere All at Once was winning stuff, or after we saw it, they mentioned they had also done Swiss Army Man, and I was like, oh crap! I've like that's since we started Oye Cinema Club. I've had this movie like in my back pocket because I've been like I really did want to watch this movie. I remember Daniel Radcliffe. I do enjoy watching a lot of the late night shows, Colbert, Conan, all of those, and I remember when they were promoting this film, Daniel Radcliffe would go around with a dummy of him from the movie, and he would take it on the couches of the talk shows and stuff like that. So I've known about this film for sure and how weird it was. I just never got to it until now. And then the fact that we saw everything and it kind of resurfaced, and yeah, I decided to choose to watch it. So that being said, oh, another little fun fact is I guess they were gonna have a dummy kind of. They weren't gonna use Daniel Radcliffe every day because they had a dummy, and I guess he. Speaking again of having the money and you can choose whatever thing you want to do, I guess he like uh I wouldn't say forced, but definitely was like, no, I want to be in every shot. So like he basically did everything except for like very the extremely hard stunts that maybe needed to be done, but he was throwing the dummy of himself around. So that in itself would be fun to kind of see any kind of back behind the scene type of like that in itself is weird, right? Throwing yourself around for art maybe, or throwing yourself around for fart. Um, hey, all right. So my next question is: do you? It's weird to say, do you have a favorite character? Because technically, it's one character, but a favorite kind of scene that they, whether it's the bus, whether it's them redoing a movie, right? The Jurassic Park, like of nostalgia wise or the meta part of it. um yeah, do you guys have a favorite moment in that sense?
Well, I really enjoyed the end because it was over. No, I'm kidding. No, I liked the I liked the end, the beach scene at the end, because like it just really validated that like this was really weird. Like, so the comedy like aspect of it, like just like it was so dramatic but so strange all at once, and I just thought it was so funny that the cameraman like slowly was like, I should record this when he started farting again. Like, I loved everybody's reactions to this. Like, it was like so serious, but not serious at all. Like, the dad turns away and he's like, oh my goodness, what's happening? The news reporter was just like, what the fuck? Like, the little girl's just like in her parents' arms, like, I knew he was telling the truth. Like, it was just such a cute, it was such a cute moment.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's still
Yeah,
crazy.
that moment was a really big laugh for me too. And the beats of it were just perfect. I mean, just like everybody's reaction and the dad, like Marina said, that the dad really sealed it for me because it's like if you don't get the dad approving with a head nod, then what are you even doing? And it's like every second they got the comedic timing just right for that moment.
Well, yeah, and you know what the other thing that reminded me of was sorry, the dog started barking, so I came to close the door. So I'm standing up. The it reminded me of Goonies on the beach, and when everything like it seems like everything's down and out, and it's like getting arrested, and we're going home, and then all of a sudden they look out in the water in the distance, and like the One-Eye Willie's ship. Oh, spoiler if you haven't seen Goonies, guys.
How
the,
dare you?
the, the ship is just kind of sailing away, and that's how it felt like. They're all kind of like looking and feeling, and all of a sudden you just have a farting away into the sunset, basically into the horizon. um and
And
Why
the,
is
and the little girl cracking up too. Like it was all very perfect.
yeah.
why is Steve far away too? Why is everybody leaving? No.
Jesus. That was the most foreign shit I've ever seen in my life.
What happened?
But yeah, so that was mine. Yeah. Man, what was my point about? I don't know. Yeah, who's
You were
next?
saying what your favorite that was your favorite scene.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go ahead then. So mine was definitely when the, over here, uh, unnamed guest is saying the jet ski, the jet ski part was the best.
Woo!
But that is not my opinion. Uh,
Wait. Do you have a do you have a corpse? Can you,
Daniel Radcliffe.
yeah.
yes, I have a replica of Daniel Radcliffe's AI in this. No, but mine for sure was when everything it starts to come together in the sense of like we found out who the girl is, what's the relationship, that he's been kind of stalking her a little bit, and then that he's in the real world and he's there talking to him, and then there's this, which is my favorite character. I'm gonna throw that in, the little girl. That
Wow.
little, yeah, that little girl to me did a killer job, and she was used in the best ways. And of course, when she was getting lost in the woods, I was getting worried. But in the beginning, that initial like introduction and stuff, and asking questions and all that, I thought that was superb.
You know, the little girl is the only other person in the movie that saw him in the state where he like spoke to people. And maybe that's like the innocence of a child or whatever,
Yeah.
but nobody else saw it in the movie. But then also at the end, okay, so I guess let me just ask this question. He's stalking this woman clearly. He's in her backyard. He set up this whole situation. But there's also a dead body that washed up on the beach. Like, what part of this is real and what part of this isn't?
I'm
Or
so
it's
good.
just like it's just a surreal, weird world, and we just have to accept what this universe is.
I think it's the latter.
I
It's not
think
like
I
he's mentally ill or something, and we're seeing it through his perspective.
so I was conflicted a couple times, but if I just took a step back and like thought about it, I think that he had said at one point like you were happy and I wasn't. I'm sorry. And so I think that like his stalking was neutral. I don't think he ever planned on doing anything to her, but I think he was just so sad that like his life didn't pan out that way, that he was gonna kill himself in her backyard. Like, because he
Sure.
was, and I think just ironically, a dead body washed up from because they lived on the beach. And I feel like one of like their little reenactment skits where they were dressing up, I feel like they showed like that he was that explosion trying to tell us like that's how he got in his predicament. Like, did they ever try to show how Daniel died? Because remember, there's like a when they were doing like their stick figures in their fantasy worlds, there's one point where there's like an explosion and he started to like feel his thoughts and things. I didn't know if they were trying to say like he was on something that exploded in the water and then that's how he drowned,
Well,
or
the EMTs mentioned that people jump off bridge to kill themselves, and that they kind of. So that's what I'm going for. Of the reality part of Daniel Radcliffe's characters sounds made sense, I guess. That
he saved him by killing himself, and that was like a
oh wow, I wasn't even
seeing
going there, but yeah.
seeing that was like, wow, that's death for real. And yeah, I don't know. I think it was real. I think it was just ironic that he was going to kill himself back there and that other guy had done it already, if that's how he passed.
Right. So then the going back to uh I guess reality, if you will, of the film or not, and what is real, what's not with it. I guess, can the movie finish without having that surreal ending, right? Like, it's completely different if we end with a realism of, yeah, this guy is psychotic and he created all this thing in the yard, or the fact that they released Radcliffe into back into the seas makes it be like, oh, okay, this is a fairy tale in itself, so it's not as weird. I mean, okay, all right, okay. What, Emma Stone, crazy dead body brought back to life? It's all kind of ringing in. How are we feeling about that, Marina? How are we feeling about, like, are we giving life into this Daniel Radcliffe dead body, Manny, or are we allowing fantasy to play in and allow him to be this kind of angelic character that helps this guy come to terms with mortality,
I
morality?
I 1000% think that like the talking stuff was in his head.
Yes.
Yeah, like even though we like the little girl felt the vibes, maybe she was just pretending for him because kids can have imaginations too. But like,
Oh, well, no, 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 no. So she when she says Manny, that's why when they're gonna interview him for the TV, they keep calling him Manny. And then he has to be like, no, I'm Hank. So the little girl saying Manny is because, like you said, Hank was talking about Manny or speaking as Manny, but clearly it's just himself. Because even at first, when the girl comes over, um, the mother, the stocky, if you will, he can respond to her, right? Like, he doesn't respond to her at all, and so that's why he is able to speak to the girl, but not to the person that he's crushing over.
yeah, yeah, I don't know with it's so it's crazy because like it seems so silly, but it's so perplexed. Like the relationship that this man had with a corpse, like even to the point of them like kissing. I was not expecting that whatsoever. It was a very big plot twist. It was
So
just like
is he mentally ill in imagining this stuff? And if that's the case, then why did everybody see him jet away at the end?
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah,
that's where the fairy tale part of it comes.
and
Like,
also he would never made it out of the island. from the beginning.
So then that's the thing. Was he in an island? At what point does it go from that's part of my question, right? Like, was he in a little island by himself?
Right. I forgot that he was on an island when the thing started, and then when
Because
it
then
ended,
almost immediately, yeah, he was just in the backyard, part of, I would imagine, Oregon or Portland or Washington State or right, or Seattle, somewhere up there. It seems like where he was at. And so I don't even know if the little island part of the very beginning is, I think that's already part of the fakeness of it. Because
And
also
also,
what
Jason, why do you call it jet skiing? In this case, it would be dead bodying or something.
yeah,
body
you're
surfing,
probably right.
But maybe because, like, in those areas there are sometimes little, like, little
yeah.
little clumps of dirt that form into like small islands. So maybe it wasn't as far as we're thinking, but maybe he had already attempted to kill himself in the water and he'd like washed up on shore on like this
Mm.
little island, and then he made it back. I don't know. I really think we're thinking really hard about a movie that really intended to be mystical. You know what I mean?
So
I
so
don't think
so
there's a logical answer.
um crap, the body washing up.
He's
It,
not farting.
The directors,
oh,
and the writers watching this review, like, wow, they're going deep. We
I
were
was
just
just
high
high.
in the afternoon.
so this is part again with reality is the phone started at like 10% when he would turn it on and check, which makes me think it made it to 1% at the very end, which again is like, and he goes from having a big old bushy beard to then shaving it off at some point while he pretended to be the girl. So how long of a period is, because then again the people when they're chasing him at the end, they stumble across all the different sets that he's built and stuff like that. So it's like, what's the time frame? How long uh has he been away? Right, crap, I didn't see when he finally gets signal on his phone and he gets a message from his dad, which is just him and all that. Did it have a timestamp on it, like from 24 hours ago or anything, or did anyone notice?
I didn't notice, but that actually should have been something I paid attention to because, like, technically, every time you see the screensaver, there's a day in time, and so
Oh,
I
I was
don't.
looking at the
I didn't,
battery.
I didn't look. Yeah, I think that's it intrigued you, but it's something we can look back at and be like, because if that thing says Wednesday, February 2nd in every scene, I'm gonna be pissed that this was just 24 hours on shrooms with
I
in the
mean, he did
forest.
build like a whole little thing in their backyard, though.
Yeah, I definitely feel like he was back there. It's just like it was like a perspective thing. Like they probably like it was probably like foresty enough, but just wasn't as far away from civilization as we felt it was.
No, I
Um,
mean like the fact that he built a little restaurant, cafe, and a bus, and a little house. Like there's like that had to take some time, right?
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how good of a shelter was, but yes, it takes a little bit, 20 minutes right now. I mean, yeah, he was doing weekend at Bernie stuff with the moving around and like quite intricate machinery going on there. Um,
Yeah, I was thinking like, was this guy that he used to be an engineer or something?
we
Yeah.
don't know, but I think part of it is like even better than the least. I mean, we knew more about his dead mom than the dad and everything, right? Like there was more info about that. But yeah.
For a quick second, I thought that maybe he was fake.
Well, at the end, it kind of seems that way, right? Because at the end, the roles kind of shift, and it's actually Radcliffe kind of embodying the live person, you know?
Did
And
you guys know that this is based on a true story?
Shut up.
yeah,
Yeah, in 1984. Look it up.
Tom
Okay.
Hanks.
But yeah, they kind of weirded me out because I didn't understand why they were having his dad look at Daniel's body bag.
Because again, of the Manny of the phone,
Oh, gotcha.
they he pretended because the little girl called him Manny, but they found the phone and they called the phone, so he didn't say that it was. And that's where the realization of the woman also started to change. That at first they thought the dead body, the phone belonged to the dead body, and that's the person that was stalking the woman. So you can that's how much I was paying attention to that. I was like, oh, they haven't figured out that it's actually his phone and not Daniel Radcliffe's phone, and that Daniel Radcliffe, is actually the one that no one knows who they are. So that was a little twist at the very end.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense. Because I was like, that's what made me. I guess I missed the point where they had reversed who they thought was who with the
Yeah,
cell phone. Because I was like, why are they asking their dad to identify the body? That's really strange.
yeah.
But I was like, is he fake? Is like, Paul not? Is he the? I don't know. I don't know. This is that kind of movie. You just I
Yeah,
started thinking about all kinds of stuff. Like,
100%.
So, here's another one. So this movie is about uh, a son and his dad, right? Or a child and dad, and then everything is a mother and daughter. What? What's gonna be their next movie about? Siblings
I wonder if they have any like parental backstory.
issues?
Yeah, backstory sounds nicer. That's what I like to say about my life. I don't have mommy issues. I have mommy backstories.
Although you are a mommy, so you have mommy issues.
Not yet. My kid's still at that age where he loves me. No clash yet.
Oh, I just meant you have issues yourself, but since you're
No,
a
no,
mommy,
you have a boy kid, so he's gonna be fine. He's just gonna love
Yeah,
his mom. Girl
yeah,
kids, they usually become combatant with their moms at some point.
yeah. I mean, it's just women, man. Like, I feel like if you're not 100% compatible, it's a wrap. It's a cat fight.
did
But-
did
but
did 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 you watch this with your hubby? Did anyone? Well, it seems like Steve had a corpse that watched it with him as well. That we aren't aware of who they are. But did anyone else watch this with someone else?
my timeline is dramatic. All right. So started this with John, and 15 minutes in, is like, I love you too much to do this to you. Let's watch something else, and I will finish this tomorrow. And so we proceeded to turn.
Damn.
15 minutes in, you said?
Yeah, I was like, no, just because I'm committed to this group doesn't mean I have to bring you in this with me. I love you too much.
What if he
My
wanted to
space.
watch with you?
I gotta deal with it.
Now I
He
really
just-
want to know what was the scene or the moment that you just went like, I need to do this.
I think it was after the 55th fart. I was just like,
So
you know.
before Radcliffe started talking.
yes, because I didn't get into like the cave scene where they were like when he was like, you don't, you keep talking like that, people gonna think you're stupid. I didn't get to that till I was on my own. No, he didn't complain. He was like, sure.
And what did you watch?
I think we watched like we like this show called Hightown. We're catching up on the last season of it, but so no, I was alone. I was scared. All by
Which
myself.
might be also better just because the movie is very alone. I mean, kind of
Yeah.
like Castaway. It gives you definitely a different psyche of like, I got no one to break this down with. Like sometimes watching with Jason, it's nice because when we watch weird shit, can kind of be like, did that just happen? Did you just see that? Did we miss that?
Tom Hanks, if you're
Yeah.
listening, we are not saying that this movie is as good as Castaway. Like, you
But it's better.
killed that. I don't know. No. Jason, what about you? You watched it by yourself?
I did watch it by myself, and I think I kind of agree with Dino that it might lend itself to watching this movie alone because it is pretty introspective, and it does get you thinking about your own existence a little bit, and or at least like an individual
Right.
existence. Yeah. So I kind of liked maybe not having someone to bounce stuff off with and just sort of having to deal with it. I did pause the movie a few times. That was part of the adventure because I had to pause it for a few times and just sort of think for a second. I didn't rewind anything, but I did take like a few moments. I took a tea break. Like, okay, let me. I need a tea break. So I went and fixed some tea and came back to it, and I was thinking about it. Uh, but this would have also worked, I think, in a movie theater. I was just reading
Oh yeah.
a review on here that said that it had very mixed reviews when it premiered at Sundance. I didn't read the article yet, but there's also a making of featurette on YouTube if you guys care to watch.
Yeah, I did see that people walked out because again, that's the beauty when you're Daniel Radcliffe and
Walked
people
out.
will show up and be like, "Oh my God, Dan!" Especially like now, yeah, now you would expect like you expect not to know what you were gonna expect when you see a Daniel Radcliffe movie. But this
Sure.
is like 2016, right? Like it's like, oh, he's still baby faced or getting there type of thing, and you show up and it's like, oh, look at what they've done to my boy, right? Like
I mean, like
Corleone.
the movie early on, it stars and he pulls his pants down further to get more like
Yeah,
propulsion. And
yeah.
it's like, oh my God. That's what I was like, okay, I now understand what this is.
It was a Harry butt I
Uh,
lived my whole life without seeing. Like I just
Yep.
did, and they showed it
Harry Butter.
again in the end,
So
right?
many times they showed it.
Harry Butter.
Mm.
um,
I took
but
tea breaks too, but they were more like days.
I actually, so I
What?
watched over half of it, and then I was like, "Oh, I need to eat because we're about to start." So was anyone eating? Because, and I'm glad, like, I got through all what I thought was like the disgusting stuff. Because then I was actually eating my burrito and eating chips, and I'm like, well, now it's just getting really sad because we're getting back into society. Or
I couldn't eat. I think I was starting to eat in the beginning, and as another reason why we switched content because I needed to finish my dinner that night. So no.
So can
The
I
water
ask?
coming out of his mouth was also one of the funniest parts to me. Like almost every time the water came out, I laughed.
oh my god, I can't
Like
even
even when
imagine.
like they take a rest in the forest and he sets them and props them up, and then he goes, he fixed some water before he continues the conversation. To me, I was like, I love that callback to that water.
Okay, so this is a question I've had the entire movie. So who's the Swiss Army man? Like who? Like who's the Swiss one? Like, because
Daniel
Harry
Radcliffe.
Potter is British, and the other guy is
No, he
American.
didn't have an accent.
Wait, it's not like Swiss, like from Switzerland. It's like a Swiss Army knife. Like they're surviving out there. Like
Oh.
Wait, I can tell. Are you being real?
I think he's being
No,
funny.
he's not being real.
I can tell. That's how good of an actor. You should get back into acting, buddy. You had me.
I hear LA's burning down
It is.
with audition.
All
Mm.
right. Well, yeah. Let's not beat this like a dead horse, or like Daniel Radcliffe was beat to death, maybe. And let's get into final thoughts, unless anyone else wants to bring up a question or a comment about it.
I got
Oh,
nothing.
and
Seems like
in your
seems like Jason wants to say something.
I was thinking that I had something to say early and I'll wait to the end, but I either don't remember it or recovered it. So
okay, so for going into final thoughts, if you can remember a line, like a favorite line, or just sprinkle in, a final kind of like image that is gonna stick with you or that you enjoyed.
Stick with me and enjoy it are two far removed
Okay,
things.
maybe not.
I'm never gonna forget that hairy butt, but but I did not enjoy that. So enjoyment factor, I would definitely say when he saves his life from the bear. I thought that was kind of cool. Like again, we don't know what's reality or not, but like just the fact that they bond grew so much to where he's caring for him now, even though it was the other way around most of the movie. Yeah, and then I'll say my final thoughts too. Very interesting. I appreciate you guys always showing me something I probably would have never even known about. I don't think I've never heard of this movie before. It was thought-provoking, strange. I would probably recommend it to like somebody that's like into like different like stuff that's like unique. Like if I hear somebody talking about like, oh, I love watching those movies that like were at the festivals and they were hidden gems, like kind of thing. I'd be like, oh, you should watch. Have you heard of this? And they probably say no, and that'll change their life. And they may block me after that because they're so creeped out by it, or they may appreciate it. Who knows? It's hit or miss. Like it just I'm very like clutch my pearls girly, and I still like enjoy parts of it. So I think that yeah, someone could enjoy it if they give it a try. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much my final thoughts.
Nice. Thanks.
I will say my final thought is as far as art films go, and I will classify this thing as an art film. This isn't really a mainstream film. It's a very interesting film. It's definitely one of the ones that would like keep my interest all throughout. Like I was never bored watching this thing. Also, it kind of reminds me of like what's that those weird movies that kind of came out that are kind of like mind bendy, like the one with Philip Seymour Hoffman, where the world is kind of like bending and he's like making a play or whatever. And just kind of like these weird sort of art things. But I feel like this thing might be more interesting than even those. And it is trying to say something. And it is trying to like deal with like a real human like needs and emotions and desires and feelings. It's just quite a bit to break down. Um, it's one of those movies where you leave knowing that you've been fed something, but you're not exactly sure how to feel about it. You know, the meal, you're like, I might have it again, but maybe not. Maybe it won't taste as good the second time. Like, you know, octopus or something. I don't know. I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird film. I would recommend it to people who are like into like weird, mind trippy cinema, bendy kind of realms and worlds. Like their other movie, Everything All at Once. If you really liked Everything All at Once, like you really liked it, you probably will like this movie quite a bit. Um, yeah, it's strange. The part that's just going to stick out for me is him riding him in the very beginning of the movie, like a dolphin or like
Free
uh,
Willy.
a motorboat, yeah, or a jet ski. Like that is just so absurd. And just like the joy that he had that this is happening, the joy that I think you have as an audience member, like, what am I watching? But also like if your first time watching this movie, that opening scene is gonna do something to you. You're gonna be like, because you're not gonna expect it. So yeah, there's a lot of types of people. If you like comedy and weird movies, this might be your thing. It's not a family movie, I don't think, by any stretch of the no. It's definitely not a family movie. But if you're feeling a little weird and you want a quirky laugh, yeah, that's who I would recommend this thing to.
Noise. I guess just me, right? Or did Steve go?
Nope, you and Steve.
So I go,
Hello?
Dino?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was gonna go
Okay. I
last.
was just waiting to see if you were going to skip me and say that I went. Uh, Final thoughts. Well, first, before final thoughts, quotes. If you don't know Jurassic Park, you don't know shit.
That's so good. Such a great quote.
Uh, there's another one. Hank, people don't like other people's farts. Manny, is that why you don't fart in front of me? Hank, no, I just like to do it alone or hold it in. That's what you're supposed to do.
Deep.
I mean, yeah, some really good ones.
So, final thoughts. Let's talk about that first scene uh, that Jason was talking about. I was watching it with my partner, and She couldn't stop laughing for at least a good 20 minutes.
Wow.
Just, just from fart noises. Just from just from seeing Daniel Radcliffe getting ridden on fart noises. I seriously thought, in my opinion, I thought this was like Brokeback Mountain. This was just me. I was feeling a different vibe from this movie, especially when he started going all, full cross dresser and and can someone please check on Marina, please? Uh, yeah, and Marina, you okay?
I'm fine.
I'm just gonna mute your mic or something. I thought this movie was, again, it did what it wanted to do. It wanted to be different. It wanted to be thought provoking, and it wanted to catch you off guard. That's why, literally, just like an ad online, those first few moments need to catch your attention. You're literally in a freaking mega high stakes situation, but this dude is like trying to kill himself. And then you see the dead body, and then he jet skis off the island, and yeah, there we go. So, even in silence. Um, what I would say is, I would recommend this movie to JP,
Mm.
especially if JP hasn't seen this. I would recommend it to him, and I would recommend it to any Harry Potter fan, specifically movie fan than the book fan. Because there's a divide between them too sometimes. But the movie fans, because I just want to see what they think of their beloved hero.
Oh
What do
yeah.
you think of your beloved hero now?
Yeah.
Well, you guys see my tag, Harry Potter and the kidney stone.
You are father, Harry. You're father. Yours,
Anyway, this movie is decent. Would I watch it again? Not because of my predilection. And if someone's playing it, I may watch a little bit, but it's not like I'm going to sit and watch the whole movie. That's my final thought.
Thank you. Um, if your partner wants to watch it again, would you watch it again?
Do you want to watch it again? He said no.
All right, I'll do my final thoughts. First off, thanks for watching with me, guys. This is a movie. Yeah, great lines. The Jurassic Park, and they kept playing the theme, and I don't know if that's like an inside joke of the whole oh crap, what is it? Goldblum says we spent so much time thinking if we can do it, if we had to. What, oh crap, what is it of the scientist? It's a famous line of like, just because we're able to do it doesn't mean we need to do it. Can someone help me up with this line? What is it? Spent so
When
much
the whole
time.
life finds a way part. Um,
Anyway, while you're looking it up, but yes, I was also thinking like this could be a one-man show or just on stage, because they're like setting it up and pretending to be stuff. Because I've done other like black box shows or like little shows where it's like deserted in an island, and there's some great, I don't know if they're multiple, but there's some really good monologues at times from Paul Dano of like explaining certain rituals from life, or just like what's the moral in life and stuff like that, and why do a thing and why do another thing. I mean, it's quite interesting. It's almost also like explaining society to alien, right, of some sort. If you think about it, if an alien were to come down to Earth and they're like, what is life, what is these norms, and this, you could show them this because it shows them the right and wrong for dating practices. Did you find the line?
sure didn't.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. Anyway, so point being, yeah, it would be funny to see if this is a one man show or a two-person show, right? Like, would it be fun just having a doll that you're moving around and doing both parts, or would it be fun if one of the, because there is a show that's kind of like Weekend at Bernie's, so maybe there's one like this. And yeah, I guess Daniel Radcliffe said this is the funnest he's had doing a film, which I can believe that if you have a doll of yourself that you're throwing around. And it only was a 22-day shoot. So hit it and quit it, I guess. Would I watch this again? In the right circumstance, I could definitely see myself watching it. Maybe if I see it that it's playing at a movie theater or something for like a special showing, like I wouldn't mind going to see it, especially maybe if there were a talkback or something like that. I think this would be very this could be a fun movie to then go and see with an audience, right? And the mix of people that know about the film and have seen it, and then people who haven't. But yeah, I would recommend this to Daniel Radcliffe fans, Harry Potter fans, Everything Everywhere All at Once fans, Paul Dano. Has Paul Dano played a regular, normal human being? Because even Dumb Money, let's be honest, like he's pretty not normal in his portrayal of that
Even
character.
looking up his IMDb, the first time I ever saw him, I didn't realize he was
The
the
kid.
kidnapper in
Yeah.
with the movie where the kids go missing and
Oh
they
no,
like beat
never
him.
mind. Isn't
Prisoner.
he in
I think so.
isn't he in There Will Be Blood?
Yeah,
Yes.
I've never seen that though, but like one of his first
What?
The
when
first movie I saw him in was a teen comedy where it was like the girl next door had like a porno movie or something like that.
oh. So the first thing I saw him in, but I didn't know, and I didn't think about it till I looked him up, was Looper, which is one of my favorite movies. He was like the
I
best
think I saw the movie, Jason.
Huh?
I think I saw that porno movie.
oh.
It's not a porno movie. It's a teen comedy. The girl
Yeah,
next
yeah,
door
yeah.
is like a film star or something.
I think I found the quote too. Is this it? Scientists are
Yeah.
actually preoccupied with accomplishment, so they are focused on whether they can do something. They never stop to ask if they should do something. Is that what you're
Yeah.
talking about? Okay, cool.
Yeah. So
Found
they,
it.
they keep doing the ba-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. And then it's great. It was like, oh, what? I think I know her name. What is it? Laura Dern. Like that. I mean, I just love the whole Jurassic Park just going through over and over. Anyway, so yeah, it's definitely another movie. I think that, and I do think JP. I was wanting JP to see it because there is some,
The
some
girl
looks.
next door. He was in the girl next door.
Who was he in the film you were talking about, Marina? The
So there, I was talking about two movies. So the first thing I ever saw on him with him was Looper, but I didn't realize that
Yeah,
because
in Looper.
he's like the best friend, the one that like has to kill himself first or whatever. But the other movie that I was like, oh shoot, that is like it was more creepy. He was in Prisoners, like Jason had said,
Mm.
where he's like, I can't remember if he's the one that kidnapped the kids or he was like the brother of the guy who did it. But he was the one that they like beat up because he was like not he was slower for lack of a better word, and he wasn't communicating with them. But he was like they saw his car on the street when the kids went missing, so he's the one that like they take and they like beat him up down like to try to like find their kids. But yeah, it's just I really feel like he's worked his way up to be able to play like these to be the main character in such a silly role. Like that's like to me that's like an acting accomplishment when you're able to start playing in these like very indie styled films that get decent budget. So
Yeah,
um
like the Batman, super indie.
yeah, not really.
Oh, and there he hooked up with another Harry Potter actor,
What who?
Rob Pattinson. The Batman is he was Gregory something or other in
Oh yeah,
Goblet of Goblet of Fire.
he was the one that was going against Harry in the race, right? Yeah.
Yeah, something
He
like
was
that.
also Spielberg's dad in The Fablemans.
Oh shit! Paul Dano, more like what has Paul done not done? No, I
Not
don't.
done. I'm gonna let you.
Listen, I've been saying it for years, and I guess I should say before it goes off, I think he's one of maybe two or three of the best character actors of his generation.
Oh snap!
Every night when I'm up in LA, this is why I don't spend that much time up there anymore. We got the lights off, and then Jason opens my door. It's like, hey, good night, Dino. By the way, Paul Dano is greatest actor of our generations. And then he opens and just farts in my room and shuts the door.
Does anyone felt really gassy since they watched this? I'm kidding.
Now every time I fart, I go for Daniel.
There you go. So I don't want us to. I don't want us to go longer than the movie. So, Jason, it looks like you got a question, maybe.
Yeah, I do. It was actually Steve. What do you got for us next week?
Next week, well, let me tell you guys, it's not gonna be easy. It's that time. It's the time to be in the category. But guess what happened this time? For the first time ever in Cinema Club history, two categories tied. So you have to pick a movie about women empowerment or a movie made in Africa. The choice
What?
is yours. Or maybe you can combine the two. I don't know. Be creative. Whatever you want to do. And this time, inaugural in this category stuff that we have in the brackets that we participated, Marina, it's your turn to shine.
Ooh.
Whoa!
I'm very excited. I picked women empowerment. Spoiler. But I was so conflicted. I'm like, should I pick for my opponent? Should I pick for my genre? Should I do both? Blah, blah, blah. And like a true Gemini I am, I narrowed it down to two. So you guys are going to have to vote because I don't like confrontation. All right. So we are going to vote between Suffragette, which was on a vote of ours before. And then also, sorry if I'm saying this wrong, Queen of Katwe, I believe, is the other movie.
So pick number one.
Suffragette. This one movie I had picked on a vote before, but Promising Young Woman won. But I've been wanting to watch this.
It looks like it has the same people, right?
Person.
Mulligan. Is that who that is?
I believe so.
And pick number two.
Which is a double in its own. It's about a little girl who's going to grow up and to be a woman. And there are scenes in Africa though this was filmed.
Okay, I feel like you fulfilled your duty.
Check.
So
It's also a female empowerment. Come on.
I had to look it up, guys, because when you type movies made in freaking Africa, it's set in, and then you look at the IMDb and it's on the Universal lot. So you got to do your research. This is tricky. This is hard. Okay.
Oh wait, I guess we didn't get all the specifics of that.
Yeah, there you go.
Well,
but anyway,
it's got to be
number
women
one.
empowerment or filmed in Africa, right? So
yeah, filmed in. Like we're not. It doesn't count if it's just like the backlot.
Yeah, look at
Disney.
white.
you're gonna have to Google where the movie was filmed, folks, just so you know.
Yeah.
I just want people to know I did my research.
All right, number one.
We will call you out, and we will not watch your movie.
Yeah.
So 1 or 2, and then who wants to? I'll do a countdown. I'll say 3, 2, 1, and when I say 1, you put your finger in. Okay.
Oh wait, so then we look bad if we're like, well, he doesn't want women empowerment. He only wants African empowerment.
I don't think that's
he doesn't want African women empowerment. He wants white women only. And then it's like, oh, he's a Disney clown.
Where's the countdown?
Well, it's finally time to see where everyone stands. Specifically you know.
I think you can win either way here. I don't think this is the war that we have to worry about picking.
This is not the hill we're going to die on with Daniel Radcliffe. Is that what you're saying?
3, 2, 1, finger.
Really, guys? You guys are so fucked.
It doesn't matter. All right, cool. Number 1 won. Was I supposed to vote? No, right? No.
I chose number 1 because I've seen number 2 before.
Yeah, cool. I feel you.
Okay.
I've actually seen all the women empowerment movies made in Africa, but I wanted to put it up there. Put at least one out there. But cool, yay! Stuff to
All
get
right.
with.
Awesome.
There you go. For El Dondino, Jason Echoes, Marina, me, Steve Des TV. We'll catch you next week. Bye bye.